you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com. The Big O Radio Show is looking for partners to join our growing platform. If your business is ready to reach an audience that starts in Florida, crosses the nation while expanding internationally, this is the program that provides that vehicle. The Big O Radio Show is ready to broadcast live anywhere in the world to represent your event or product. To reach out by phone, 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664. Or email bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Help us grow as we provide the content and personal connection corporate entities will never achieve.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchased with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Red Recover now offers a simple-to-use, professional-grade light therapy device designed to help your dog heal and live a healthier life. Red Recover emits red and infrared light therapy based on the same science that NASA developed, all in a soft, flexible housing pad powered by a convenient, rechargeable lithium-ion battery. Say yes to science and give your dog the care it deserves with Red Recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
Well, I'm a parent myself, and I think it's important to teach our own children to handle stuff like adults in a face-to-face manner. As it relates to posting on social media, I was raised very different than anything that would relate to anything such as that. But a parent is very free and welcome to come pick up their son if they're not happy with their playing time here at the University of Miami. And I guess that's my philosophy.
The storm is brewing. The warning flag is up. It's time to get ready for Miami Hurricanes football. Welcome to the Edge Energy Drink Miami Hurricanes pregame show on the Sports Talk 305 Network. Live from Walk On Sports Bistro in Kendall, the show is mastered by Sean Stanley and Chad Shobe. When you're looking for the finest energy drink on the planet, you can only get it delivered to your home or office by going to myedgedrink.com. Use our code Big O and get 10% off an energy drink that's delicious, smooth, and has zero aftertaste. Here's your hosts, Orlando Alzugaray and Mike McCoy.
You hear me?
Yeah, Mike is on, but I'm not on.
You want this mic?
No. He'll get it. He'll figure it out. Appreciate all of you out there, as always. Technical staff.
So we can go with my voice in your face. How does that go? So it'll be my first crack this, but like O was trying to say, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the Miami Hurricanes pregame show on the 305 Sports Talk Network. We're here live at Walk-Ons on Kendall Drive and 167 Avenue. If you can make it out here, go ahead and do so. Miami versus Clemson today. I'm your co-host, Mike McCoy. We're going to get this figured out ASAP. But hope everybody's doing well. Coming off of a win at Georgia Tech last week. A lot of noise throughout the week in terms of some transfer portal news and some coaching comments that Mario Cristobal had to make towards some certain parents picking up their kids if they're not happy. It was a busy week. And we're here. And we are happy to get going. So talk to us. Tell us what's going on in the chat. What are your minds? What's on your minds, and what do you think Miami's doing today? Is it working? Not yet? No, it's okay. We'll get it. Isaiah, Brian, everybody, thanks for joining us in the chat. And let's take a look around college football first before we actually get going talking about the game, because I really don't want to do this on my own. But here we go. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the action around the ACC first today. Obviously, the kickoff for Miami. Yeah, I'm up now. Okay. We're going to start with action around the ACC. Obviously, Miami kicking off at Death Valley at 3:30. But the slate is as follows. Actually, Michigan is playing right now.
Check. There we go.
Oh, here we go. Okay, cool.
There we go. All right, we got the mic fixed.
Awesome. Just to finish that thought, the action around the ACC as follows before we get into our guests and the actual show is Louisiana is losing at FSU 35-0. They're about to get into halftime. Virginia Tech and Liberty 17 all at the half. Duke at Pittsburgh 14-20. Pittsburgh's winning that one. That's going to be Miami's opponent next week at the regular season finale. Miami Gardens are about to go into halftime there. Boston College at Notre Dame, the 18th ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish is at 2:30. And then, of course, NC State at Louisville is going to be 3:30 ESPN 3. And then, Georgia Tech UNC, that's at 5:30. And then the 8 o'clock kickoff for the ACC is Syracuse at Wake Forest.
All right. And we started off the show, obviously, with Mario's comments to the parents. And great graphics on your part, Sean, with a little card saying you guys can haul ass if you want. I thought it was an interesting development this week with parents. All right, there we go. With parents complaining about kids' playing time and that kind of stuff. And Mario wasted no time sending a message to those parents. And I think, this is Mike, this is all part of the process of cleaning out a program and bringing in the people you need. I thought Barry Jackson did a nice job in the Miami Herald. It's kind of stuff you already knew, but he specifically pointed out all the players that have gone to the NFL and went to other schools and did not go to Miami, and how few of them from South Florida are staying in Miami. And that's part of what Mario and the rest of his staff have to do now, is convince these kids, start bringing in the higher end kid, to actually lift this program up, because it's obvious why you're not winning. You're not getting enough NFL players. Pretty simple. And that cannot be accepted. This is a different kind of program where you've got to be challenging, for a national title, be in the ACC picture for the conference title. I'm not saying you got to win the title every year. That's ridiculous. But you got to be somewhere. You got to find yourself in the top 10, top 15.
Yes, sir.
Every single year, and that just doesn't seem to happen.
So, the way I look at it, and you made a very great point. I'm not disagreeing with anything that you said. I'm just going to add to it. So, Miami's getting talented guys, right? You want to know what's not happening or what hasn't been happening is the development. You could come in with all the, with all the talent in the world, but if you're not getting developed like other schools are,
right,
that's the problem.
Yep, exactly.
That's the problem, because look, Oregon wanted these, or Mario recruited a lot of these guys when he was at Oregon. So did Alabama, so did Clemson, so did Ohio State, so did Georgia. Miami beat Georgia for James Williams, for crying out loud. So these guys are talented, but when you come in with high school talent and you stay at high school talent versus a guy that's being developed and he's now almost close to being an NFL player, that's the gap that Miami has been having to deal with for the past 20 years.
Yeah.
That's the gap that they've been having to deal with for the past 20 years.
Yeah, but even though the talented guys, they don't have enough talent. They still haven't gotten enough. That's the problem. Sure, they haven't. They probably haven't maximized the development of the current guys that they've had. But the bottom line is they still haven't gotten enough stars.
100%.
And when Pat Surtain Jr. is not coming to Miami,
that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem.
That's a huge problem. You can't allow stuff like that to happen. And that's where Howard Schnellenberger, like he said, I got to put a fence around the state of Florida.
Right.
And that's kind of what you've got to do. And everybody else kind of, Jimmy and Butch, and those guys kind of followed down that path of being able to be monster recruiters. Since then, you haven't really had monster recruiters.
No.
And that's been the problem the last 20 years, that guys like Dennis Erickson and guys like Larry Coker and Randy Shannon and Al Golden, they could not maintain a certain level that was set before. And then there were other reasons why. You didn't have the help from the administration.
100%.
And then now with the whole NIL thing, you've been one at the forefront of that since it started with Ruiz. So now you fix your commitment to your administration. You're paying your coaches. You have the NIL power. All that's left now is for you to go out and recruit those guys. Yep. And I think that's what we're seeing now. That's why they've kept most of this class together. And quite frankly, these young guys know that I'm going to go play.
100%. There's two things that a highly touted, any high school recruit wants to do. They want to win and they want to play. And if they can do both of those early, then, that's an added bonus. So Mario is clearly selling these recruits the future. And it seems to be working because Miami has had one decommitment in this entire 5-5 season. And if you argue, in past regimes, it may have been more, right? So I think that's a pretty good track record to have up to this point. And depending on who you ask, the decommitment in Jaden Rashada was one that was probably, I don't want to say expected, but expected, for lack of a better phrase. And so that guy was clearly a Gator at heart. Who knows if, he was using Miami for leverage. If he was being a businessman, then it's a smart thing to do. One of these recruits that Miami's going after right now, Pancake Huncho is what they call him. The offensive tackle, who's a mammoth human being, who, if paired up with, I'm drawing a blank right now, the offensive tackle, the number one offensive tackle in the country that Miami has committed. I'm drawing a blank. If the chat can help me, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank right now. But in any event, if Miami can get him, he's being a great businessman right now because he has a great, off-field brand already that he's working on. He's taking an official to Ohio State. He's taking a visit to Florida. So he's clearly weighing out his options. And I think it's smart for every one of these kids to take every one of their recruits in this business of college football right now, because that's exactly what it is. Thank you, Brian Francis. And you can't blame him, but, and this is how you know that Mario's about his business and about selling the truth and the future to these guys is these parents love the staff. These parents have, of the new commits, not the ones that have been commenting on their child in their playing time.
Well, if you're not playing, that's why. Yeah.
Right. But of the new commits, you're out there on social media supporting them, and, they love it. They absolutely love, the sincereness of this staff. And just wait, guys. I get it. 20 years, I don't want to wait, but don't take out 20 years of frustration on a guy that just got here. That's not fair. It's not his fault. But just give Mario up to year 3 and see what this conversation is like then.
I'm laughing at somebody who sent me just a reply now on Twitter. That was too funny.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, no, it's nothing. It had nothing to do with this show, that's for sure. By the way, we got a lot of things going on today. Gabby Arrudia is going to join us at 2 o'clock here at the top of the hour. So we'll have a little fun with Gabby. We'll get the latest on recruiting and what's been going on. Lee Sterling is going to join us at 2:45. He'll give us his picks. So we'll have some fun with Lee. What's up? Yes, sir. And so we will have Lee Sterling at 2:45 from Paramount Sports. He'll give us some picks in college and in the NFL. Remember, tomorrow we're not going to be here. We're not going to be doing anything because we're going to be relaxing. Sean and I get a day off. We get 2 days off. Sean, we get 2 days off this week, bro. 2 days off. 2 days off.
What's the second day?
Thursday. We're taking off Thanksgiving, bro.
Oh, well, duh. I can't believe that Thanksgiving is this week.
Yeah.
I was talking to my mom earlier, and I couldn't.
We're working Black Friday. We'll be at Acura on Black Friday.
Okay.
Is that what? Yeah, it is.
Can you hear me, Sean? Can you hear me,
Yeah, I hear you fine. I don't know. Maybe he's hearing some kind of feedback or something. It's a technical engineering thing he's worried about. That's what it is. So
Sean is a perfectionist, and we love that.
Yes, well, we have to.
Thank you.
Sure you want. Everybody, do we sound good? Everything good out there? Give us because if you was sounding crappy, you guys would have said something, by now. But anyway, we got a lot of things going on today. Besides our guest, Gabby Arrudia at 2 o'clock from 247 Sports. So we'll get the skinny on all the recruiting stuff. 2:45, Lee Sterling going to join us from Paramount Sports. While we're here for 4 quarters, we're going to be giving away walk-on gift packs that have, gift certificates and glasses and coolies and, I don't know, shirts, that whatever they put in those gift baskets. They put all kinds of stuff. We're going to be giving away Caneswear gift cards every quarter. So that way you can get anything from Caneswear. When you go to Caneswear or even online, you can use the gift card, which is a beautiful thing. We're going to be giving away Perdomo prize packs are worth about $100 with the lighter, the cutter, and the hat. And we got a pair of tickets for the Heat and the Pistons that we're going to give away also here today. So you never know, man. We've always got all kinds of great giveaways going on. We've got no, we're not giving away any of the TVs, Sean. What do you want to do? Oh, you want the tickets. Oh, okay. All right. So Sean wants the tickets. But anyway, so I had a good time the other night. I went to the Suns game, and that was cool. That was a great time because they actually were they pulled out the victory and they came back at the end. So that was a lot of fun. I didn't think they were going to win that game, to be quite honest with you.
They better have won it with Chris Paul not playing.
Yeah, well, no, but I mean, they were without Tyler, and
that's true.
So it's kind of they were missing some. Yesterday they were without Bam, without Tyler. And Jimmy, right?
I think they played with 7 guys, right?
Yeah, and they lost by 1. Actually, I got to say, Kyle Lowry played his ass off yesterday. He had a triple-double, okay? But it's like, okay, dude, like, where are you? So, like, when everybody else is there, you're just coasting? Aren't they paying you $30 million a year?
You want to know, as a Bulls fan, who that sounds like?
Oh.
Whenever Derrick Rose was not available, Carlos Boozer would ball. And when Derrick Rose played, it's like Carlos Boozer said, we have our superstar in the lineup. I could take a day off. And by the way, Carlos Boozer has 2 sons at Columbus that are in the top 10 of their classes.
I think he goes to Heat games a lot.
Yeah, he clearly lives down here. Like I said, his sons go to Columbus, so he's probably spotted there a lot. Yeah. But one of his sons
was one of those guys that wanted to play here badly.
Yeah. don't blame him.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. And then the Bulls had to overpay him because, Bosch ended up coming here. And that's my frustration with Carlos Boozer. But, yeah, his sons are balling over at Columbus. Shouts out to them. I think one of them is class of 24. It's class of 25. So watch out for those young men.
No doubt. No doubt. So we got a lot of giveaways going on here at Walk-Ons. We got one more game, by the way, and that'll be next week at 8 o'clock at night. Yeah, thank you so much
Two
for
games.
that late
We're going to
game.
get bowl eligible. 2 games. Let's speak it into existence.
What, you think they're going to win today?
Anything can happen, but they're definitely going to win next week.
Listen, anything can happen. I'm with you. Will it happen?
It's a different story.
That's a whole different ball game.
Yes.
William Quigley in the house, baby. Yes, sir. We love it. CuttersEdgePro.com. Love it. And by the way, thanks to Cutters Edge Pro. That's why we're giving away the Heat and Pistons tickets. They are the sponsors of it. So we appreciate it immensely. And so a lot of things going on as we get ready for this game. A monumental challenge for the Canes. And I think, and I think what I'm excited about is watching actually Jakari.
Yes.
Because you think about it now, and with Jakari, you have a young man now that is getting key experience.
Huge.
You don't really know what's going to happen with Tyler in the offseason. You really don't know. And while you don't know that, you need to prepare your program. And Jakari is a kid that he's really not supposed to be playing.
Nope.
But it's kind of a blessing that you get him this playing time. And think about this. This kid's going to have the experience of playing in Clemson. That's huge, right? And he's coming off a win where he played well. And if you watch Jakari, the one thing, again, listen, I'm going to kill Gaddis all year, right? But I'm going to be fair now. He's done a really nice job with Jakari that every time Jakari plays, he looks more comfortable. He looks more like he knows what the hell he's doing. All of those things. To me, like from the first moment you saw him where he was kind of really green to what you saw last week was a completely different player.
100%.
And so now the shell shock of starting, the shell shock of playing on the road, the shell shock of playing great teams like Clemson, all these things, these experiences he's going through in a developmental year.
Right.
So it's really important because I got to tell you, if he finishes strong today and Pittsburgh next week, are you ready to ruffle some feathers?
Here we go.
Are you ready to if you're the head coach, there's no way in the world you say, Tyler, this is your job. No, hey, Tyler, we love what you've done, but Jakari's done a great job. We have to open up the competition.
That's fair.
And yeah, but it's not something we expected, is my point.
Nope.
So these next 2 games become incredibly important for a kid like Jakari because he can send a message to the staff, to his teammates, to the fan base, the media. Who gives a shit about us? We don't care. But whatever, they say, hey, I'm ready. Right. I'm not, this moment's not big for me. We saw Ken Dorsey play from a young age. You didn't, but I saw, Bernie Kosar play from a young age. So it's not like it hasn't been done before. And if you go next year and you say Jakari and Tyler open up for the competition because of the way you saw Jakari finish the season strong, dude, if he has a great game today, even if they lose, it sends a message. And by the way, another message that it sends is to the fan base that Wesley Basaint is an impactful young player, that Jaleel Skinner is a guy that Jakari, Inez Cooper, Ahmad Moten, all these kids that are green and young, they're contributing. And then that shows you that these guys already are making an impact with their recruiting by getting guys that can help them out at such a green age. And I think that's really, really important. So it's going to be interesting to see how Jakari plays the next 2 weeks because that's going to set up his offseason.
2 things I want to touch on that you mentioned. And number one, Gaddis. And the other part, the message that if Jakari plays well, the message that it's sending. Number one, Gaddis is kind of makes you wonder that I guess this goes for any offensive coordinator, that a mobile quarterback helps you look better, obviously. But even still, it's not like if he was working with a non-NFL type quarterback in Tyler Van Dyke. But, the offensive line looks better because of Jakari's legs. Things are a little bit easier for Gaddis, especially in the red zone. Miami did a better job of that last week. And so that's number one about Gaddis. The other thing about the message that it sends, you want to know what message it sends? It sends the exact type of message that Mario Cristobal wants reverberating around this program, and that is competition at the most important position on the field, okay? Yeah, I'm a true freshman, but I came to the University of Miami knowing that two guys were already here. Jake Garcia, supposed to have done and I'm not giving up on him completely yet. We'll see what happens. If he transfers, he transfers. If he doesn't, then that shows the kind of moxie that he has and the belief in himself. I would love to see three guys kind of going at it, right? But Jakari still gets here, and he says, yeah, I know Jake's here. I know TVD's here, but I'm coming here anyway. He's playing, like you said, when he wasn't supposed to, but that's the message that it sends to the coaches and to the players. Like, hey, if I can do it, that's how Miami was great. Okay, you better not have gotten hurt, because who knows if your spot was still there when you got back, because that's how it was in Miami. Coach Cristobal is trying to emulate that past type of environment, that don't get comfortable, because I'm going to recruit guys in the portal as well that can take your spot. So, yeah, injury is not supposed to go ahead and you're not supposed to lose your spot because of injury. But what happens if that guy's balling out? So I agree 100%. Jakari, if he plays well these last two games, he's going to force, and maybe the bowl game, he's going to force the coaches.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
They actually can beat Pittsburgh, they'll get into a bowl. I don't expect them to win today. What am I going to lie to you? I mean, I'd love for them to win. I'm going to go nuts today if they win.
It's going to be fun. We're going to have a 3-hour toast.
It would ruin Clemson's season.
It would.
It would ruin their season.
No, 100%. They could probably still win the ACC.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is playoffs and all that.
Oh, no, they're out of the playoffs.
Yeah, you can forget about any chances or anything like that. That's my point. So that it reminds me of 2019 when the Dolphins went to New England at the end of the year, and New England, if they win, they get the bye week.
Yes.
And Miami was, that was the first year of flow, and it was a disaster that they were just bringing in young guys all over the place, and they were finding their groove towards the end, and they go and beat the Patriots, and that really ended the dynasty and the run, because they went to the divisional round, got knocked out, and then Brady left.
Right.
And so it reminds me of that everything is on the line for the Patriots.
Yep.
Nothing was in line for the Dolphins. They were kind of building their culture. That's what's going on.
That's what's going on,
You're building your culture today and next week, and Clemson is the one that's got everything on the line. So all you got to try to do is it's not easy again, but you got to try to make them second guess themselves. You got to try to get them nervous. You got to try to turn over the ball. You got to try to do things that you haven't done. And, another thing that I think is going to be very important, you're going to have to take some chances today.
Miami has nothing to lose, man. If they throw the kitchen sink at them, and I'm careful when I say this, but when I say out of character, I think you guys know what I mean. Miami's going to have to play out of character, and just throwing on first down more often than not. Like, why not? Just go for it. You have nothing to lose. You're not supposed to win this game. You have a better chance, I'm not going to say expected to, but you have a better chance of winning next week. And I'll tell you what, if Miami plays a good game and loses, or obviously if they win, one of those two, that Pittsburgh game is going to be on fire next week, because it's already a night game.
Yes.
It's the final game of the season, okay? I don't know what recruits are going to be there, but there's going to be some officials, of course. And then if you're fighting for a sixth win, that place is going to be on fire.
Yeah. No, it's going to be fun. I mean, if you can listen, a great performance today, even in a loss, will set you up for next week.
100%.
What you don't want today is what Vegas has you as a 20-point underdog, and you don't compete, and you're out of the game in the first half, and then that's kind of demoralizing, at that point. You want to come out of this game like you made progress.
Correct. Yes.
Okay? And a bunch of those young names that I reeled off that now you're seeing on the field, I think it's incredibly important to have those young names have success out there. You know, if Jaleel Skinner catches another touchdown, that's a beautiful thing, man. You know, if Wesley Basaint goes out there and continues to play well, we're talking about kids that haven't even grown into their bodies yet.
Right.
They haven't had an off season with the strength and conditioning mustache. Okay? I mean, seriously, that's, you know, I heard his mustache can actually bench 100 pounds.
His mustache can bench 100 pounds, and it could probably grow at a 4.440 rate. Right? He made a play last week. He was involved on the play. I don't think he made the tackle, and I'm not just saying this because of the number that he wears, number 31, but he flashed speed from the linebacker position that I have not seen since Sean Spence. Wesley Basaint can move. All right. That boy can move, and that is a welcome sight because you look at the Miami linebackers of the past several seasons, and no knock on them. Shaq Quarterman did his job. Michael Pinckney did his job. All of those guys did their jobs, but they didn't have the speed that you're used to at the position. Keontre Smith, a converted linebacker, he came in as a safety, is probably one of the quickest linebackers, and he doesn't have the speed that Wes Basaint flashed. Chase Smith, another guy that's not available for the rest of the season, got hurt a couple of weeks ago, I believe during practice. He's another guy in a legacy. His dad played tight end here back in the 80s. He's a guy that can move. So Miami had, I have 100% of what Coach Cristobal is doing. He knows what it looks like, and we're getting there, guys. But it's just something that we don't want to do, and we have to be patient. But 2 more games after the season in the regular season, hopefully 3. But, back to your point about Basaint, he's a grown man. And, look, another guy that's going to prove that these games are going to pay dividends in his development is on the offensive line. Inez Cooper is a guy that Mario beams about. Just listen to Mario talking when he's talking about Inez Cooper. He loves the young man. He always says he's going to be great. He's going to be great. And so just watch out for him today.
All right, that's Mike McCoy. I'm Orlando Alzugaray. Sean Stanley managing and mastering this entire platform. Give us a 1-minute break, and we're back with Gabby Arrudia from 247 Sports. Let's get the latest on recruiting right here on the MyEdgeDrink.com Miami Hurricanes pregame show live from Walk-Ons in Kendall on the SportsTalk305 Network.
You're listening to Miami Hurricanes coverage live from Walk-On Sports Bistro in Kendall on the Sports Talk 305 Network. This is the MyEdgeDrink.com Miami Hurricanes pregame show with Orlando Alzugaray and Mike McCoy.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Evolve your training and step into the new era of muscle recovery. Red Recover.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at Caneswear.com or InnerMiamiWear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
You're locked into the only platform truly dedicated to South Florida sports. This is the Edge Energy Drink Miami Hurricanes pregame show, live from Walk-On Sports Bistro in Kendall on the Sports Talk 305 Network. Here's your hosts, Orlando Alzugaray and Mike McCoy.
All righty. Yes, sir. It is time to get the latest on what's going on in the world of recruiting with the Canes. Nobody better than Gabby Arrudia, Mr. Daddy Daycare himself. I reached out to him this morning. He's like, yeah, man, I had to get a power nap.
I did.
Out of gas. Power nap.
Welcome to the club, bro.
Yeah.
Gotta sneak him in when I can get him, man.
Been there, done that. Don't miss it. Yes, sir. Don't miss it. You'll see. 20 years later, you'll go, yep, don't miss it.
No, I'm sure.
Anyway, Gabby, and awesome, man. It is awesome to watch you and the family grow. That is a beautiful thing and a blessing every day for all of us.
Thank you.
Have a family, man. That is obviously a blessing. Well, Mario, I'm sorry, not Manny. Mario was talking about unhappy parents. Well, now we're finding out that there's a running back already going to transfer out. So we got the big boy going out, Thad Franklin. What else are you hearing on the recruiting side? And before we talk about the guys that could be coming, let's talk about the guys that could be leaving.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, I think this is going to be there's going to be a large number of players leaving for different reasons. We saw Thad Franklin leave. I know it kind of circulated that, he walked out of practice earlier last week. I mean, that definitely happened. And I think that, I think with this staff, that's kind of a point of no return. If you're going to do that, you're going to walk out of this practice, quit on this team. I think you're just about done there. I could definitely see I don't know, man. I mean, we've heard anywhere in the ballpark of, 25, potentially pushing to 30 players. I mean, I'm expecting them to go, again, just based on some conversations I had, go out and get at least 10 guys via the transfer portal. So then you got to assume they sign anywhere between 25 to 28 high school kids. That could be anywhere up to 38 scholarships they need to find. So that's a lot of spots that they need to kind of figure out between guys graduating, between guys leaving. I mean, I expect this to just be the very beginning. I mean, we've already seen Gilbert Frierson leave. We saw Thad Franklin leave. Definitely wouldn't be surprised. I mean, any name that kind of gets thrown at me right now, I mean, just kind of got to wear it on the chin. This is a part of culture building, the building of this program and everything that comes along with it. So it's not for everybody. Not all these kids signed up to play for Mario Cristobal. So if they feel like they don't want to be here, I mean, I think that, really, honestly, whoever it is that wants to leave, should kind of just go and figure it out.
No longer the Manny Diaz Country Club.
No, not
ahead,
anymore. Thank God for that. And thanks for joining us again, Gabby. Hope everything's well. I mean, I guess they do know already because these are Mario guys and they kind of maybe share the same DNA. But in terms of maybe what you've heard, because obviously you talk to these high school juniors and seniors more than any of us here. But what kind of message are they saying that it's sending to them? I mean, are they excited? Are they saying like, oh my God, like Mario doesn't play? Because the way I look at it is this is how Miami made their bones back in the day. I was saying in the last segment that you better have hope that you didn't get hurt because when you got back, the old saying is you're not supposed to lose your spot due to injury. But if this guy, we were just talking about Jakari, and if he plays well in these last 2 games, hopefully 3 with a bowl game, you're kind of making the coaches look at you instead of giving the position to TVD. So, I mean, how are these guys taking that? Are they saying we're going into a boot camp, we better not mess around, or this is the type of coaching that I want?
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys are buying into this coaching, right? Again, I mean, these are guys that are actively making the decision to come play for Mario Cristobal. And these guys know exactly what it is that they're signing up for. I don't think they're going to walk into Coral Gables and anything is going to be a surprise to them. I think that they've been very transparent, very honest about what this program is, what it's going to mean to be a Miami Hurricane, the standard that they kind of hold the players to, the coaches to, the staff, personnel, recruiting, health, weight training, all those guys. There's a standard. And I think when you're talking to these recruits, I think it's obvious that they're buying into that, right? I mean, when you're talking about the standard, I don't think they're going to get in there and be like, wait, I have to wake up at 5:15 in the morning and go work out. Like, we have to do all these things. Coach is going to scream at me. He's not going to be as nice to me as he was on the recruiting trail. I think these guys are expecting tough coaching. I think these guys understand that this is a program that, again, they're at a place where they can kind of come in and contribute early, but they're also going to have to come in and work early. I don't think that there's any, miscommunication. I don't think it's cloudy about, what exactly the expectation is here. So, I think that it's a great opportunity. And I think if you're a young kid wanting to go into a program, if you truly do have NFL aspirations, I mean, there's no other way to do it. It can't be any other way. There's no other route other than, hard work, getting after it, just kind of fully diving into. I mean, Coach Cristobal said in this past press conference, like football has to be your life. Like it has to be. And if it's not, then that's fine. But, if you want to play at Miami, it's got to be your life. It's got to kind of drive you, fuel you every single day. And, I think the guys that they're recruiting, again, Mike, you said it, kind of they have that DNA, that Coach Cristobal DNA of, that's the way that they're wired.
And just to follow up with that, and I'm not speaking negatively on the guys that weren't recruited, because look, there's a lot of guys on this team that he recruited while he was at Oregon, right?
Yeah,
I mean, let's just be
sure.
honest, and a lot of guys that were recruited by other Power 5 schools, maybe ranked in the top 10 as we speak. But in terms of mentality of guys that they're not used to this type of coaching, speak on if you can, like the mentality that they have coming in, or was it like a culture of something that they expected to happen or kind of go a certain way? Because yes, they knew that there was, and where I'm trying to get at is, it was, I get it, the honeymoon period, but everything was great when they started. Oh, we loved it, and the energy was great during the summertime and everything like that. I mean, what changed? What changed, and what did they think that they were getting into when
I'm not getting what I want.
not getting what they want? And then obviously it was a completely different mindset in the past two regimes. So, I mean, your take on that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's you kind of have to evaluate it at, kind of a case by case basis. Again, I mean, what happened with Thad Franklin and what happened with Gilbert Frierson could be two completely different things. Like I think it's all different. Maybe they had an expectation of coming in and playing sooner. Maybe Gilbert Frierson had an expectation that he was going to be more part of the rotation. I don't know exactly where the disconnect was there, where things didn't happen the way that they happened. I mean, again, I think we can assume certain things, but I can't personally speak on what exactly went wrong there. But yeah, again, I think these guys come in and they think that they're going to play. I mean, Thad Franklin was like an all-state running back out of Chaminade Madonna. I think his junior, he broke the state record for most rushing yards in a state championship game. He went for 330 and 5 touchdowns. Thad Franklin, was a great high school player, but you get to the college level and I have conversations with people all the time about this. Like, just because you're like a really good, you can be a really good high school player, but if the work ethic and all that stuff doesn't match up, you don't just automatically become a great college player. It's a completely different level. I mean, guys get bigger, faster, stronger when they get to college. I mean, strength programs, all that stuff. So if you need to be keeping up from that aspect too, and just because how good you were at one place, you think you may have an opportunity to play, you got to come in and earn it, man. I mean, I know Coach Cristobal's preaching early playing time to these guys, but that doesn't mean that Francis Malgo is going to walk in and plug and play right tackle next year. He's going to have to come in and grind. And if he doesn't come in and earn that spot, it's not his. Yeah, he might have an opportunity. Yeah, all these kids might have an opportunity. But if you're not kind of putting your head down, you're not grinding, you're not doing the things on a day-to-day basis that are going to earn you playing time, you're not going to just be gifted it. It's not going to be, handed to you, gift wrapped to you and be like, hey, man, thanks for signing up. Here's 15, 20 carries a game. It doesn't work like that. And again, I'm not suggesting that that's the exact mentality, but, it's different at the college level. I think it hits guys sometimes at different points than others. And again, this is what the transfer portal's for. Maybe it didn't work out for you here. There's an opportunity to potentially go elsewhere. I think it's awesome that these guys have a chance to kind of rewrite their story. It's not going to be at Miami. That's probably best for both parties. Just kind of got to let the chips fall where they may at this point, and I'm all for it.
Gabby, when you look at the guys that are playing, the Skinners, the Besants, the Jakari, obviously, Moten, all that, does that bode well for Mario and his staff going out on the road? Because obviously you're going to have a lot more to be able to recruit now because guys are going to leave. So like you said, there's going to be maybe 30-something, scholarships to fill now. They don't have that many in the recruiting class right now, but the message is set. Hey, you come in here, you earn it, you're going to play. Does that send a good message to those young guys out there that, hey, I got an opportunity to walk in and help out right away?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot, similar to what I was just alluding to with Mike. I know Miami dropped a graphic the other day. I think it was 8 true freshmen, or maybe it was 9 true freshmen played in that win at Georgia Tech. I mean, that's a big deal. There's not a lot of programs that are playing that many young guys. I know, again, another thing Coach Cristobal said in this past week's press conference, he's always played true freshmen. He always says you kind of go back to it. When I was at Oregon, we were always playing a lot of true freshmen. Back at other stops, I'm not afraid to put true freshmen out there. That's a part of what he does. He's all about, I'm going to play the best guys. And if the best guy is, 3 months removed from prom, then the best guy's 3 months removed from prom. It's not, I don't think that there's a gap where it's just like, yeah, this kid's good, but this kid's older. I think it's just very cut and dry, black and white. And yeah, some of these freshmen might take a little bit longer to kind of come along, but week 6, week 7, I mean, what we're seeing now, I mean, what is it? Week 11, week 12 now. When these guys aren't freshmen anymore. I mean, a lot of these guys have been through spring football, summer conditioning, and now 12 weeks of a college football season. I mean, 3 months. I mean, these guys are kind of caught up to pace. And if they're ready to contribute right now, I mean, you got to get them on the field, see what you got with them, because and then again, a lot of them are performing at a high level. And I think a lot of these kids also have that competitive drive. I mean, Jakari Brown definitely has it upstairs. Wesley Bassett, I mean, was a leader of a defense of a Miami Central program that's just absolutely one of the best in the country. Practice is harder than any other high school football team I've ever seen practice. I mean, you go to Miami Central, those guys are hitting every single day. Those guys are scrimmaging, playing football every single day. These guys aren't just running through drills. These guys are playing football against one another every single time I've been at a Miami Central practice. I mean, these guys come in prepared, and then they obviously have that mentality where, I'm going to come in and I'm going to play football. That's all I know to do is play football. And obviously they're seeing the fruits of their labor and they're getting on the field. Yes, that helps a lot when, they're kind of going on the trail and they can pitch the kids. Yeah, you know what? You can get on the field here early and you can play.
Sounds like those central practices are harder than the games.
They're wild.
Program.
They're like 4 hours long, and they just literally play football. Like, they just practice like they're running against each other. Like, it's awesome to watch.
I wanted to ask you about Mr. Okunlola, because this is a guy that I've been waiting to hopefully pop for a long time. But you want to know what? He's a businessman. He's smart.
Right.
Took an official over to UF. I think he's scheduled to be at Ohio State this week, if I'm not, or maybe next week. I'm not sure. But what's the skinny on him? What's the latest on him? Have you heard anything? I know he hasn't set a date yet.
Right.
But what's up with him?
You're talking about businessman, man. If you're a businessman, when would you make your decision? Would you make it with time left on the clock, or would you wait till there's 2 seconds left and it's down to the wire? I mean, that's the way that this is going to play out. I mean, early signing period, December 21st, you got until Friday, that Wednesday to Friday to sign early. I mean, I'm not suggesting he's going to wait till that Friday, but man, I think that this is going to be very much of a business decision. Again, let's not forget the era of football that we're in. He obviously has his Pancake Honcho brand, which he's obviously promoted. Florida did a great job, I think, assisting him with that during that photo shoot. I think it was really, really cool the way they set it up. Obviously he's in Massachusetts already, where he can already make money off name, image, and likeness. I do think Miami's in a good spot. I mean, I know Steve Wiltfong, our director of recruiting, he went on his whip around show. He said he still likes, his Miami crystal ball. He still thinks that they're the team to beat. I agree. But this is going to go down. This is going to go down to the wire. Yeah, he might go see Ohio State right now. He's probably going to still flirt with Florida. We'll see what happens with Michigan State, some other big NIL players. But right now, I'm of the understanding that Miami's in the best spot.
Good to hear.
When you talk about this offseason for Mario, how much better can this class get? Are you hearing about any other names?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always names. I mean, these guys are recruiting. I mean, I wrote some VIP stuff, on the site at Inside the U. I mean, I had a conversation this week that really just kind of shifted my whole perspective. They're just like, they're really like the way they just. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm about to cough. The way it was described to me is like, we're laying in the grass right now, staring at the clouds. We're not in panic mode. We're kind of letting everything play out right now. It's nowhere near time for us to kind of gear up and get ready for this final push, because there is still so much time left on the clock, and people see, what is it? It's November 19th, December, early signing periods, December 21st. We got to push, we got to panic. 3 days in recruiting could potentially be a long time, could be make or break on which way a kid goes. 5 weeks is an eternity, and there's so much that's going to change. There's so much pushing that still needs to happen from different perspectives and all that different type of stuff. I mean, there are going to be names right now that we haven't heard of. They're going to try to bring a bunch of committed guys on campus. They're going to try to flip a ton of dudes. I wrote on the site yesterday, I think that they're really still kind of trying to work their way into that Anthony Hill recruitment. He's the number one linebacker in the country. He just decommitted from Texas A&M. He visited Texas. He has been to Miami before. His dad was like born and raised in the Florida Keys. So I do think Miami's going to try to make a move there. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. But I think that's one they're going to work at. Again, we're so far away from the finish line that right now it's still super unpredictable. Yes, this staff is going to work like crazy till the buzzer rings. That's the way that these guys work. We've seen it time and time again. They got Cyrus Moss to cut short a USC official visit to make it down to Miami, and really just spent probably, 12 hours in South Florida. They ended up landing his signature. I mean, these guys need such a limited amount of time to close. Mario Cristobal is one of the best in the business at doing so.
Gabby, and of course you can follow Gabby there at 247 Sports. Gabby, I was talking about this with Mike earlier, that these next two games are enormous for Jakari and Tyler. okay? Because you could say, well, if Van Dyke wants to come back next year, you just hand him the job. I disagree. If Jakari goes out there and plays well today, even if they lose, but he plays well and he looks good like he did last week where he looked comfortable. He didn't look like the game was too big for him. And then, Pittsburgh, somehow or another, he plays well again, and maybe even they win and they get to a bowl game. But if Jakari, who continues to improve, by the way, every time he goes out there, ends up looking good, and Tyler wants to come back next year, I think if you're Mario, you have to do the responsible thing and tell Tyler, hey, I respect that you're coming back, but we cannot give you the job. We appreciate everything you've done, but we've got to open up the competition between you and Jakari because it's only the right thing to do the way Jakari played down the stretch. And then on top of all of that, Jakari is getting some sweet-ass experience right now.
Yeah.
Even playing at Clemson today against a powerhouse, that's great experience for him. Do you agree if he ends strong, it could be a quarterback competition if Tyler wants to come back next year?
Yeah, it's really interesting because so my initial take on this is, one, I fully expect Tyler Van Dyke back in 2023. I think those conversations have already been had. I think he's coming back. And then just to kind of other side, the Jakari Brown. My issue is he should have never been in this position to start off with. Like, Jakari Brown was fully in developmental mode. His camp wants him in developmental mode. I think even if you're talking to people close to him, I don't think that this is the situation that they would have wanted for him. If you would have told them at the beginning of the season, hey, your son's going to start 3 games for Miami, play a lot in a 4th, I think they would have kind of been like, okay, what's kind of going on here? Because this was not the plan. So, yes, I do agree that if Jakari Brown looks really good, where, it's clear that his pass, that his arm is taking the next step, where he's accurate, he's putting balls in good places, he's leading Miami to a competitive game at Clemson where they've won like 39 straight games. They come back against Pitt next week. He leads them to a win against Pitt. If in that situation, I think you kind of start having conversations. Hey, maybe we open this thing back up. But I do think in Jakari Brown's mind, in his own mind, he understands how much he needs to grow, how much he needs to develop, and how far away he really is from being the player that we believe he can be. I believe he can be great. I think 2024 is the ideal timing for that tenure to start. Just because, again, I do think he has to grow a lot. He's shown flashes. I think he's proven that he can be good when his time comes up. But I do think that there's still a lot that needs to kind of happen there. He has improved year over year. Kind of people have watched him from his sophomore year to his junior season. He got better. Junior to senior got better. Senior to now getting better. So he's on the right trajectory. But kind of throwing this on his shoulders right now, I feel like it's kind of – I don't feel like it's totally fair to the kid because, again, I think if you were to ask him in a room with no one around, he would say, hey, yeah, I know I'm not totally ready to be a quarterback here. He's a high-level competitor. He's going to do everything he can to will this team to a win. He's going to show up. He's going to ball. He's going to put his body on the line. But I think he needs to grow, continue to develop. If it were me, I think the perfect situation that could potentially play out, Tyler Van Dyke comes back in 2023. You surround him with weapons via the transfer portal, continue to elevate some of the guys currently on the roster, go get him a couple receivers, go get him another running back, put some better bodies around him, a deeper offensive line with some stud freshmen. And I think you kind of try to run it back with Tyler Van Dyke because I do think when he's at his best and when he has dudes around him, which he showed in 2021 with Charleston Rambo, he can be a really high-level quarterback. So I think that's best case scenario for Miami, and then smooth transition into Jakari in 2024. I get it. People love Jakari Brown, but this is going to be this is going to take some time, I think.
I mean, listen, you know him way better than I do, but I got to say, that's some crazy ass maturity that kid has.
Yeah, for sure.
If he thinks that way, because normally a kid that thinks that way, normally a kid that you give him that opportunity now, he's like, no, it's mine now. I gotta keep riding it. So if he really thinks that way, wow, he's mature beyond his years.
He's a good kid, and again, he knows he's not. He knows he's nowhere near a finished product yet. Like, even with the times where he's flashed and he's done some awesome things, some incredible things. There's no doubt about that. I'm one of the biggest Jakari Brown advocates. I've been one of the biggest Jakari Brown advocates since he was kind of coming here. I think he has a chance to be special because he has it upstairs. He has that right mentality, but he is not. He's not there overall from a total quarterback standpoint. And if he can be there without the stress of being the guy, truly give him like that full 365 days of development where there's no pressure to do anything like that. I think in 2024, Miami walks into the swamp on August 31st, 2024. Ja'Carri Brown's leading him down the tunnel. I will feel good about Ja'Carri Brown against Jaden Rashada in that matchup.
Nice.
Three things you touched on. Number one, you brought up Charleston Randall. Shouts out to him. He got drafted into the XFL earlier this week, so shouts out to him. Secondly, the situation about TVD and maybe the quarterback the quarterback competition opening up. You want to know what should have happened when Derek King came? That should have been an open competition. I was not a fan of just handing it to him because
Well, he was a veteran established
he was a
quarterback.
veteran, and I know that when you transfer, it's kind of agreed that maybe you're, whatever, but look what you had in Tyler Van Dyke all that year.
Yeah, but the leadership, he was ready to lead a program. Tyler was not ready to lead a program at that moment. I had no problem with that move. I really like King, man. I don't think that he was ever going to be this great quarterback at the next level or anything, but at the college level, I don't know about you, Gabby, but
Yeah,
I loved him as a talent. Yeah. And thank you, as a talent and also as a leader, dude. That's where I thought he just oozed all kinds of leadership.
Yeah. And then that third thing is, I got to ask you about Mark Fletcher, because obviously decommitment from Ohio State. I don't know how long that was in the makings, but I couldn't wait today to ask you about this for our audience. What can you share? What do you know? Like I said, there's some things that you know that you probably can't share, but what do you know that you can share about that recruitment?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's gonna kind of get down to the wire. I think it's one of those things where, it could end up being another one of these Miami versus Florida battles where it's just like, Billy Napier, Mario Cristobal, once again, duking it out for, a top running back. I mean, I don't know what Big O's doing, but it's
just dropped off a bunch of.
Brother, one of our listeners just brought us an entire box of Entenmann's.
Yeah, like
that's awesome. I was just like, this guy's just whipping out snacks right now. I mean, what's going on here?
Pardon my French. This is fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome stuff. I was like, wait, what's going on here? I was like, is this an ad? Like, I don't know about it. I didn't know what's going on here. But yeah, Miami feels pretty confident about where they're at there. Again, I think this is one of those where he obviously decommits fresh off of a Florida visit. Again, if Mark Fletcher's making the smartest business decision, no reason to rush into a decision, make one soon. I think that this is one that can kind of let this thing play out. Again, I like how Miami kind of closes things out. I think the track record kind of speaks for itself. Really, the only major recruiting win that Billy Napier has over Mario Cristobal is that Jaden Rashada one, and Mario Cristobal initially won that one, so it was like a win, but like a half win, because Miami didn't win the public perception battle over the course of the summer. And that Jaden Rashada commitment for Miami did have a domino effect that led to a multitude of other commitments. So while that was a win for Florida, obviously at the end of the day, they're getting a high level arm. This was, so again, back to Fletcher. I mean, I think this is one that's just going to kind of get down to the wire. Who knows who else gets involved here? Georgia's been offering running backs, all those different types of things. So we'll see if any other schools try to poke around here. But right now, it seems like it's a Miami-Florida battle.
Are you in the school of thought that if Miami is having a better season, that Rashada sticks, or was he Gator bound from day one?
Nah, I mean, I don't know how much. Again, it was a really weird recruitment all the way through. Like, he was kind of super leaning towards Florida. Took a very, very last-minute official visit to Miami, and that kind of pushed him over the edge, all this different types of stuff. I mean, again, there's, their NIL stuff. Let's not ignore it. It's not a big, scary monster. I know everyone's kind of scared to say the word because these kids are in high school and all that stuff. But, I think there is a lot of, influence in that way. Was he ever fully bought in on the program? I don't know. It does feel like a part of him wanted to go to Florida, but kind of thought that it would be smarter to go to Miami. Obviously, the season didn't go as planned. Maybe if Miami's really, really good, it doesn't necessarily happen this way. I do think maybe the way the season played out had some sort of influence. But, I mean, I'm watching Florida right now. They're down 28-12 against Vanderbilt here late in the third quarter. So, I mean,
thank you for that. I had no idea.
Yeah, they're stuffing the run and forcing.
If results matter, I mean, I don't know how much better it's. I mean, it's obviously been a little bit better over there. They're playing in a different conference, but I mean, the win totals are comparable, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
By the way, Gators trail Vandy 28-12. Michigan and Illini are tied at 10. TCU is leading Baylor 20-14, and UCF lost to Navy 17-14. So I don't know about putting UCF now in the Gridiron Roundtable every week here. I don't know about that now. You're losing a Navy. By the way, clearly I will be in a food coma after this game. Clearly. Anyway, Gabby, I appreciate you, my brother, as always.
Guys.
Follow him on Twitter at Gabby Arrudia 247. Of course, subscribe to 24/7 Sports and follow all of the Canes coverage. What do you got going on 247 so folks can check you out, Gabby?
Yeah, always got a lot of stuff going on. I mean, again, this recruiting season is going to be kind of nuts. We stay up to date on all that type of stuff. So if you're into the talent acquisition, the roster attrition, all that different type of stuff, there's going to be a lot of movement here. We stay on top of all that stuff. So if you want to be locked in, I mean, our board is the place to be. So I think we have a nice little deal running right now. So definitely would encourage you to hop on board.
There you go. Gabby, as always, appreciate you, my brother. We'll catch up next week, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You got it. Gabby Arrudia from 247 Sports. All right, let's take a quick break. We're coming to you live from Walk-Ons in Kendall. We're getting ready for the Canes and the Clemson Tigers. It'll be at 3:30. We're an hour away. At 2:45, we're going to have Lee Sterling from Paramount Sports. He'll give us his picks. We got a bunch of stuff that we want to talk about, too. Heading into the game, we can take your questions and comments right on the YouTube chat board or on the Welt and Rayom text line at 855-912-1056. Great law firm here in South Florida, in Hollywood. Hey, listen, you got some home damage, water damage, storm damage, maybe some kid drove his car through your house, and before you call the insurance companies, you call the folks at Welt and Rayom like I did, and they brought Progressive to their knees. All right, so reach out to Welt and Rayom, and it's really simple, by the way. It's 954. Let me see here, and I want to make sure I get the phone right. Let me pull it up here on the pad. I want to see 954. Where is it? Damn it! I know I have it here somewhere. I know
I'll
it's.
Google it.
It's nine. I know it's. What is it? 9696.
What is it? What's in Reyes?
Welt and Rayom.
Rayom.
I know I have the number here. I want to say it, but I don't want to. I want to say the wrong number and I go off memory. You have it there for me? All right. You put the billboard up. Thank you. There's the billboard. 954-966-4646. I knew the 4646. I want to make sure the first three numbers. 954-966-4646 for Welt and Rayom. So make sure you reach out there. And if you want to reach out to us on the text line, 855-1056. Let's come back on the other side right here on Walk-Ons in Kendall.
You're listening to Miami Hurricanes coverage live from Walk-On Sports Bistro in Kendall on the SportsTalk305 Network. This is the MyEdgeDrink.com Miami Hurricanes pregame show with Orlando Alzugaray and Mike McCoy. When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com. The Big O Radio Show is looking for partners to join our growing platform. If your business is ready to reach an audience that starts in Florida, crosses the nation while expanding internationally, this is the program that provides that vehicle. The Big O Radio Show is ready to broadcast live anywhere in the world to represent your event or product. To reach out by phone, 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664. Or email bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Help us grow as we provide the content and personal connection corporate entities will never achieve.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Red, an infrared light, has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Red Recover can maximize your efforts by potentially improving cellular metabolism, blood circulation, and muscle recovery. Evolve your training and step into the new era of muscle recovery.
The Viewpoint State.
Red, an infrared light, has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria. Welcome to Red Light Therapy. A revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red, an infrared light, has the capacity to penetrate. Red Recover now offers a simple-to-use, professional-grade light therapy device designed to help your dog heal and...
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield Home Security...
Red Recover now offers a simple-to-use, professional-grade light therapy device designed to help your dog heal and live a healthier life. Red Recover emits red and infrared light therapy based on the same science that NASA developed, all in a soft, flexible housing pad powered by a convenient, rechargeable lithium-ion battery. Say yes to science and give your dog the care it deserves with Red Recover.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop. There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. You're locked into the only platform truly dedicated to South Florida sports. This is the Edge Energy Drink Miami Hurricanes pregame show, live from Walk-On Sports Bistro in Kendall on the SportsTalk305 Network. Here's your hosts, Orlando Alzugaray and Mike McCoy.
All right, we are back. We're back. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties there. It's a little bit of a snafu, but we were able to fix it. No, I did not start eating all these boxes of Entenmann's. Not yet, at least.
We had to pull them off the chocolate donut.
I tell you, I've tried this, the Louisiana Crunch.
Oh, that is a classic.
This is the shit. Okay, like the Louisiana Crunch is amazing.
Do you heat it up? Just a tad.
Oh, I've never done that.
Do that. It's a whole different ball game.
Now this I've been getting in my house for, I don't know, 30 years, 40 years, whatever. I've been eating that pound cake. Oh, my God. Just crazy. So one of our listeners, now I'm told, he handles Entenmann's in this area.
Oh, man.
So he's like, you see Entenmann's trucks around here? That's me.
That's him.
That's him. So he was he's a loyal fan, a loyal listener. We have the best listeners. We have the best supporters on the planet, period. All of you help us grow and keep this platform alive with all the insiders and everything, whether you're making a donation, whether you're clicking the like button, whether you're watching, whether you're visiting our amazing sponsors like myedgedrink.com, the finest energy drink on the planet, by the way.
I ordered some.
There you go. Of course. Damn right. Freaking amazing. 78 calories, and delicious, smooth, and zero aftertaste. Go to myedgedrink.com, use our code BIG-O, and get 10% off. Proud sponsors and title sponsors of the pregame show. So help us out by helping us grow. By the way, you'll be able, once they're about to finish it off officially, you'll be able to get you'll be able to get Edge here at Walk-Ons at any time. So that's going to be awesome. We left Edge here.
Uh-huh.
They drank it all. It hasn't been approved yet to sell here yet. So we had some stash for promotional purposes.
Gone.
All the employees drank it.
I mean, and they probably mixed some vodka with it too. I can't blame them.
I would do that too, but I mean, it's just amazing. So UCF loses to Navy. Florida's losing to Vanderbilt.
There's more.
It's crazy, dude.
There's more.
What's going on?
Vodtech is losing to Liberty.
Yeah, but Vodtech is really bad.
They are, but damn.
And Liberty is actually better than what you think. You know what I'm saying? When you play Liberty or Richmond or Troy, or Appalachian State, or these are programs that I know they're not powerhouses, but you better respect them.
Yeah, you got to be up on your game.
You got to, because if not, they're one of the better programs that are not of the.
They're better C students.
Yeah, exactly. They play hard, man. Good programs. Yes.
Yeah, and that
17-10.
Yep, and that game's at
Michigan,
the end of the third quarter.
The Illini over Michigan. Okay.
At the big house.
Well, you told me they lost their running back, right? All right. So they lost. Yeah, that's a big loss for Michigan. Big O, you picking an upset with Georgia versus Kentucky in Lexington? Nah, I wouldn't. I mean, I respect Kentucky and what they've done and how they've built up their program now in the last few years.
Right.
They're a good program now in football. They're not just, a basketball program.
They're not.
But Georgia's nasty, bro.
Yeah.
They're so loaded.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's Georgia, one, and I think there's a big gap for second.
Yeah.
I'm not impressed with Ohio State. It's not Clemson. It's not Bama. I like TCU, but I don't know if I like them against Georgia.
Well, that's because that's what you got to see now with TCU. That's the next thing. They've done an awesome job. It's now play one of the big boys here and then prove yourself. But there's no doubt that they should be in the playoffs.
100%.
They're in a Power 5. They've done everything you asked of them.
Yep.
They deserve to be in that position.
They do.
Baylor is beating TVU now, I'm told. That's what Brian Walter is saying. So, yeah. Yep. Tigers are giving up over 111 yards rushing a game. Ken, I know you're Mr. Positive when it comes to the Canes. But hey, listen, you know what, Ken? Let me back you up a little bit here.
Let's hear it.
The Rooster played well last week. He played with a purpose. And maybe he's a good player. He just had, obviously, whatever yips was going on with him. He was mentally, whatever. And maybe he's over that hump. And because he's himself, you might get a better player. And then when you have a running quarterback to assist your running back, that becomes also a help for your running game. And you do have, the line has a couple players there that maybe you can, create some problems. So I kind of see what you're saying. If you can run the ball, control the offense, and limit Clemson's possessions, maybe you give yourself a chance in the back end. So I understand the method behind your madness.
And if I'm not mistaken, hey guys, hey, there you go. Thanks, Sean. What was that?
Blind ass fan alert. Look out, everyone. We've got a blind ass fan coming through.
Yeah. There we go.
Let me add to what you were saying. Oh, Chaney, I think, is available today.
Oh, that's right.
And if you add a little bit of thunder and lightning, look, I'm not saying Miami's going to, whatever. But I do think that there's a chance that they play well.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It's not Sean, we're not saying they're going to win, bro. Okay, we're not out here like
Sean's
going to
pick the Canes anyway.
Yeah, he probably will pick the Canes.
He's going to pick the Canes anyway.
He'll pick them like 52-3. Anyway, but listen, this is something that can happen.
Yes, you have to at least talk about it if there's a possibility, right?
This is how you're going to win, is by running, controlling the clock, limiting Clemson's possessions. That's the way you're going to win. You're not going to get in a shootout with them. That would be absolutely stupid. No. And plus, you would open yourself up to a whole bunch of mistakes that they can capitalize on. And
with
then
a
you're
freshman
on the road.
quarterback in an environment like this, you don't want that. But I think there's two numbers that I'm going to be paying attention to throughout the game. And it's a repeat of what I said against FSU, because this is an equally big game. And when you have a game that you're probably not supposed to win, especially on the road, there are two things that you got to do. You got to take control of, you said it, that time of possession. It's got to be big for Miami. And the only way you do that is by running the ball. And Miami has three guys that can figure into that. I'm not sure about Parrish's availability today, but if he's available, great. Chaney's back, great. Rooster, great. And Jakari's legs, great. Time of possession, it has to be 37 minutes for Miami for them to have a chance, okay? I know that's asking a lot, but that's the number I'm putting out there, because that's the number that was on the time of possession board for Miami at Kyle Field against Texas A&M. So I'm putting 37 minutes as a number to watch. And the other one, forget 100 yards rushing, it's 4.5. You got to rush with a purpose. 4.5 yards per carry. You can't just have these 2.9. No, it can't happen. 4.5 a rush, and I think you're working with something. If those two things happen, obviously there's a lot more that needs to happen, but those are the top two numbers that I'm going to be looking out for Miami to have a chance. Just give yourself a chance, man. That's all you're asking for.
Yep. They're supposed to lose and lose big today.
Right.
But if anything wacky will happen, it's going to happen with the running game and some turnovers.
Yes.
All right, it is time to talk to Lee Sterling, and the segment is brought to you by Entenmann's. Since they brought us a box full of Entenmann's here at Walk-Ons, which is a beautiful thing, let's bring up Lee Sterling from Paramount Sports, ParamountSports.com, on Twitter at Paramount Sports. Lee, I'm going to get into a food coma after the show. They brought us boxes of Entenmann's and stuff, so I got a whole box here, bro. So we're gonna have an Entenmann's party after the show. I don't know. You're invited if you want.
I used to eat Entenmann's all the time, so especially late at night watching games. So
this has been my forever.
Much. Oh, I mean,
that pound cake.
That
pound cake is my weakness right here. This pound cake. Oh my God. Been eating that pound cake for centuries, dude. It's amazing. Anyways, what a present. They brought us a full box of all that stuff. Anyway, my man, we were talking a little bit about Canes and Clemson. Obviously, Canes should lose big here. If there's a chance to win or make this interesting at all, it's got to be through the running game, correct?
Absolutely. You got to control the clock. I don't know if they're going to control the clock for 36, 37 minutes. That's highly unlikely. But, I mean, you never know. Time of possession isn't as important as it used to be. When you used to play in the 70s and 80s, running the football. But in this case, yeah, they probably definitely have to control it. Clemson could hit on some big plays and we could lose by 3 or 4 touchdowns. But there's a much better chance if they run the football and we control the clock. We have a chance to stay in the game and who knows, maybe pull off the shocker. I mean, this is not the greatest Clemson team of all time, and it's not even close. But, we run about 15, 20 plays, same plays over and over. You just have to do it well.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm with you there. So the spread is down to 18 from 19. I don't think that's going to change your opinion. What do you think of this game?
I like Clemson here. I think they win the game something like probably 34-13. Not personally playing the game, but if I was Miami, I'd put the heat also on Clemson. Got to take some chances. You can't sit there and just have 6, 7 guys in the box. You got to blitz Williams. He's blitzed early and often. Blitz Stevenson. Stevenson's a great blitzer too. I think eventually Williams will be an outside linebacker, either next year with UM or at the next level. And I think Stevenson's a strong safety, not a cornerback. So let those guys come up and make plays. It's just like on offense. You want your best players to make plays. Put those guys on defense, your best players, and let them have an opportunity to get a sack, to maybe create a fumble or a turnover. You're not going to win this game if each team has one turnover. It's just probably not going to happen.
Give me another pick this afternoon in college football that you like.
I like Kentucky actually a little bit. Kentucky plays better at home. They're 16-6 against the spread the last 22 games at home. Now, the line probably would have been 15 or 16 a week or 2 weeks ago, but they lost to Vanderbilt, and it turns out Vanderbilt's beating Florida right now, laying it on them. So Vanderbilt had been playing the wrong quarterback probably most of the season. No shocker there. And then, look what Georgia did against their last 2 opponents. They dominated Tennessee and destroyed Mississippi State. So I don't think Georgia can keep playing at this high of a level. 22.5 points on the road is a lot. And Kentucky's quarterback, Will Levis, is a top-level guy. He's just been banged up. Toe injury, shoulder injury. I think you give it a shot with Kentucky.
All right, let's move over to Sundays. Dolphins are off. A few other teams are off this week. Give us a couple of games on what I think is a tough slate of games this week, man. Damn.
It is. And when that happens, what you have to do is you have to maybe cut back, play a few less games. I like the Jets plus 3.5 against New England. If you watch the first game, the first half, the Jets should have been up by 3 touchdowns. New England was lucky, and then almost every break went their way. I mean, The Jets were up by 7, and then it looked like it was a pick 6 for the Jets. Late hit on the quarterback changed the entire game. From that point forward, 1 minute to go in the half, the game flipped. I think the Jets defense is pretty darn good. And as long as they get a decent game out of Wilson, I think they're the better team. And you're getting 3.5 points. You got revenge there. I think you give it a shot with the Jets. Also, like New Orleans, I think this Rams team is done. There is no one on that Rams team at running back, receiver, tight end that scares you at all. I know they still have a good defense. As long as New Orleans doesn't turn the ball over 3 or more times, I'd lay the 3. Take New Orleans.
By the way, how much has the Dolphins' chances to get to the Super Bowl increased? Because I'm looking at the Bengals last year, and I think this Dolphins team is better than the Bengals last year. Can enough crazy things happen that this Dolphin team would be a Super Bowl participant?
Absolutely. Anything can happen. You saw it last year with Cincinnati. Miami has the offense. They need to get some guys back on the defense at cornerback and can't lose any more guys on the front 7. But bottom line right now, this offense is almost unstoppable. If you saw who's defensive end for Cleveland?
Garrett, Myles Garrett.
Yeah, what he said it was almost like they knew exactly what we were going to do every single down. So just shows you what good coaching and also some playmakers can do. So do I think Buffalo's a better team overall? Yeah, but they're down 3 of their top 4 guys in the secondary also. So you get some pressure on Josh.
Buffalo and KC should be considered the class of the conference. There's no doubt about that. But it's interesting how Miami probably could hang with them on any given Sunday. Anybody else, I don't really look at as like, I really fear them. I think it's Kansas City and Buffalo above Miami, right?
I would agree. Then maybe Baltimore after that with Lamar Jackson. They probably will get healthy if they don't keep losing guys. But, it's fun. It's fun again. You want hope, and at least we've got hope. So only other game that I'm looking at for Sunday is one more game. I like the Giants. How is this line? Maybe it's a trap. How are they only a 3-point favorite? I know Detroit has a nice offense, but think that the Giants' defense is going to dial up some.
Yeah.
What now?
I wonder with that. Do you believe in the Giants?
Do I think they're great? No, but they're better than Detroit.
Yeah.
Detroit's defense is terrible. We saw it. The Dolphins just ran right through them. I think the Giants are much better coached. The game's at home. It's a 3-point line. If it was 5.5, 6, no. But at 3 points, they're susceptible to a running quarterback, Detroit, and the Giants have it. They're not turning the ball over. That's the difference compared to last year. And Barkley, one of the top 3 running backs in the NFL, I think will run right through Detroit. I like them. I think they win the game something like 27-20.
Well, Dable's doing a good job with the Giants, and who knows, maybe Josh Allen is missing Brian Dable right now. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. All right, tell them about Paramount Sports, my friend.
They want to get involved tomorrow, 5 games, $55. NFL, we've only had one losing weekend in the NFL was last week. So looking for a nice comeback. I don't know many services that can tell you that are documented. They won 9 to 10 weeks in the NFL, 5 selections, $55, ParamountSports.com.
And, of course, on Twitter, also at Paramount Sports. Lee, as always, enjoy the football this weekend, my friend. We'll catch up next week.
Okay, see you, Big O. See you, Mike.
Thank you, sir. There you go. Lee Sterling, baby, coming through. You like any of those picks?
I do. I was hoping that he brought up the Niners because that's one of those teams that is going to be creeping up. And much like the Dolphins, the Niners are waiting to get a lot of guys back because they have been bitten by the injury bug for years. Okay, I don't know what the heck's going on over there, but they haven't had luck. But before the season, my NFC prediction was the Bay of Pigs. I was saying Tampa Bay, Green Bay, right? I just thought that Tampa Bay and Brady coming back, I thought it was going to mean a lot to him. And obviously I'm wrong with Green Bay. But in the AFC, I said, Buffalo and KC. But my dark horse in the NFC was the Niners. And listen, just keep an eye out. You and I are going to be going at it for next week. Oh,
Yeah, I think the problem with the Niners is that most of us don't believe that Jimmy Garoppolo will come through in key moments.
Right.
It's not so much the coaching. It's not so much their defense. It's not so much the offense, their running game. We know they have all the other elements.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of Jimmy proving to people that he can be clutch in those
Yep.
moments. That's really what it is. It's not like he can't play. It's not any of that stuff. It's just
when the pressure's on.
He's got to come through, and I think that's what would put the fear. And I think that's the reason why now Miami has kind of climbed up, because the coach and the quarterback are, the quarterback's playing better than anybody in the league right now.
Mm-hmm.
Statistically, that's nuts to think that Tua is the best quarterback in the league right now. Nobody would have expected that. You know what I'm saying? And so that's where I think it kind of changes. And then you've watched Tua already win in the national title game against, with Alabama. So it's just like, okay, the clutch gene is there for that kid. I think that's what Jimmy is left. Jimmy is left to prove to people that, no, I can be the franchise guy and the difference maker, not just a facilitator. And I think that's the only reason why they don't put San Fran right over the hump with those other teams.
And the difference, I think the main difference between these two teams, obviously San Fran with a great defense, but Miami can play from behind. San Fran really probably can't afford to play from behind. And Steve Young came out and said that, and this is no breaking news. He said it like if he was breaking news, and it was funny to me that Kyle Shanahan is kind of holding back. Maybe he thinks he's holding back the playbook because he doesn't think that he can run certain things with Jimmy Garoppolo at the quarterback position. But that's obvious. That's obvious.
The athleticism is not what Jimmy brings to the table. It's not like he. So that's what I think what Shanahan is talking about. A lot of the boots and the waggles and that kind of stuff that they do in that offense to bring misdirection and all that. I think he doesn't feel comfortable with Jimmy G doing those kind of things. And then the other kid is so green.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, he's out for the year now.
Right.
But what I'm saying is he's so green, but he is built athletically to do those kind of things.
To run those things.
Right.
I think that when those teams play next week, it's going to be crazy. You're going to see the same exact offense on the field the whole game. It's going to be crazy. I think it's going to be fun to watch.
Yep. Yeah. Your boys play this week?
They do. They are playing the Cardinals.
Oh, yeah, the Cardinals. That's it. And they're favored by 8 on the road. Where the Cardinals are one team that has been
disappointing, man.
Very disappointing, dude. Very disappointing. And as much as I like Kyler Murray, I have to say, and he has receivers.
Yes, he does.
He doesn't get over the hump.
No.
He teases you. You know, he's a passer. I do say that. He's not a runner. He's a passer that can run.
He is.
He has touch and all that, but my brother, you got to get over the hump. You got to make the plays.
It's crazy how the NFC West was. I'm sorry for anybody disagreeing out there. That was the toughest division in football for a good 2-3 years, and it's just an afterthought right now. Maybe not an afterthought, but a couple years ago, you had the Rams were hot, the Cardinals were hot, the Seahawks, and the Niners. That was a tough division. Okay, and now it's just like you might have 2 teams out there that are worthy of anything. Maybe one.
Yeah. Well, a minute.
Just a scoring update really quick here. Nationally, we're going to go over the top 25. Let me hit my refresh button on ESPN.com. Let's talk about this Illinois at the Big House. They are leading with 8:06 to go, 17-13 right now. Michigan driving. They are at about the 30-yard line on their side of the field. TCU is down with 2:07 to go at Baylor. TCU with the ball trailing 26-28. Bama's up 34-0. Florida State putting a number at home on Louisiana 49-10. Kansas State over West Virginia 35-10. Notre Dame up 10-0 in the first quarter. One game that I'm going to have my eye on, I think it'll be closer than the experts think. I think Ohio State at Maryland. Dan Enos is looking pretty good as a coordinator right now for the Terps. So I think that's going to be an interesting game. Or Georgia's at Kentucky. We talked about that just earlier. Penn State at Rutgers. And another notable, Tennessee's at South Carolina. So we're going to take a look at that one. And Ole Miss traveling to Arkansas. That's another game that I think is going to be closer than the experts think. Arkansas 5-5 hosting the 14th ranked Rebels and Lane Kiffin's offense. And then Oklahoma State is playing Oklahoma. Isn't that Isn't that Bedlam? They call that game Bedlam, right?
Yes.
That's Bedlam.
Yes. By the way, Manny Navarro reporting, and let me make sure I get this. No, it's actually good. Relax.
Okay.
Take it easy.
Okay.
Okay, relax. You'll sleep well. You and Ken Helms, by the way, are going to sleep very well on this one.
Oh.
For the first time this season, Miami will have Henry Parrish Jr., Don Chaney Jr., and Jalen Knight healthy in the backfield.
God, what could have been?
Right. Well,
Gosh,
but maybe what could be today.
Hopefully.
How about that?
Well,
How about
listen.
that? You know? So Elijah Arroyo didn't pay his way to make the trip this time. Injured Canes tight end is on the field pregame. Last week he showed up in Atlanta on his own support the squad and sat in the crowd.
Yep.
Leonard
awesome.
Taylor, by the way, made the trip. He's going through warm-ups.
Okay. They're going to need him. They're
Yes.
going to need him. That Will Shipley is a stud, 5-star running back. I mean, he's a Christian McCaffrey clone. Okay, he really is. He does the same exact things Christian McCaffrey does. Great out of the backfield catching the ball, tough runner inside the tackles, smaller-ish back with speed, a smart guy. He's a Christian McCaffrey clone. I love that kid. But Clemson's defense banged up, all right, getting into this game. So maybe, that plays into Miami's favor. But, I think Miami's best defense is going to be their offense today. I really do think that. And obviously, in every game, this is unnecessary, but especially in games like this, limit your penalties, turnovers, all that good stuff. But again, the numbers that I'm going to be paying attention to are 37, as in 37 minutes of time of possession. And I get that number from the Texas A&M game where Miami won that game statistically. Miami won that game on the field. They won it everywhere except on the scoreboard. Let's call it what it is. And 4.5 yards per carry. Going to be huge. But I think Miami, again, they got to play out of character, man. Come out and do something unexpected. Throw that ball. Let Jakari throw the ball 30 times. Why not? But I'll tell you one thing. If you don't stop Clemson's run, I think one of the keys for victory for Miami, too, is to make DJ a passer. Make him throw the ball 30-plus times because it's not his forte. The guy's physically gifted. The guy is a passer. The guy can, in terms of physical traits, the guy can throw the ball, on both knees 50 yards, right? So make him a passer, all right? Make him a passer. And if Miami can, limit this Clemson running game, that's, again, they stand a chance. Not that you're going to win it, but you give yourself a chance.
I'm with you. We are going to get a guest on. And what's it called? Will Vandervoot, by the way, is going to join us.
Oh, right.
Yes. So we'll hopefully have him on in a second here. Vandervoot, by the way, is the co-host of Believe in Clemson Football, and he works for Sports Illustrated covering Clemson, and also the author of Hidden History of Clemson Football. So hopefully we will get Will on. I think he is popping in now. So we'll have Will on, and we'll talk a little Clemson football with him. He's at the stadium. And we are ready. Let's bring Will aboard, and we'll talk a little bit and get a preview of this game. Will, how you doing, my friend? You doing all right?
I'm doing good. We're all sitting in the press box watching this Baylor game.
Okay. I got you.
Can you get me?
Yeah, we got you. You weren't entertained by UCF beating Navy beating UCF?
No, I think from a Clemson standpoint, they're kind of more curious about that Baylor TCU game.
I would imagine so. All right, hey, talk to us a little bit about this Clemson team. They're awesome, but they're not they're not the powerhouse that we've been spoiled with watching year in and year out. It seems like this is kind of one of those years where Dabo's kind of resetting a little bit.
Yeah, it's been a season where they're still really good defensively, and that's really where their bread and butter is. And offensively, they've had their struggles, but I thought for the most part they haven't played too bad on offense this year. Most of the games they've played really well. It's just the last couple of weeks they just haven't looked as good as they were early in the season, and that's kind of where their struggles have come from. Is just taking care of the football and just the confidence level where DJ Uiagalelei is at. And it's going to be interesting to see where he is today. He played really well, I thought, last week overall. Want to see if he's in that same headspace today against Miami.
Thanks for joining us, Will. Appreciate your work. Just wanted to ask you, because obviously the Trevor Lawrence days, it almost never happened, but whenever a Clemson team was behind the sticks or behind on the scoreboard, that was clearly an offense that, can come from behind. They were built to come from behind, and, that wasn't an issue. 7 points, 10 points, not so much the case. I'm not saying that Clemson is incapable of doing it. Still talent on that team. But DJ probably isn't the passer that Trevor Lawrence was. So how do they feel playing from behind? Obviously, it's a different team in my estimation, but I wanted to hear your side of this, your story.
Yeah, they're more of a run-oriented team, as Clemson always has been. A lot of people get that confused with their offense because they have had Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence and Taj Boyd at the helm, and they've had these explosive wide receivers. But the offense is a run-first offense. It's about setting up the play action and running the football. But because they do lack skill players that they didn't. And I know a lot of people blame it on DJ, and I understand it, but they do lack a lot of skill players on the outside. They don't have those explosive guys like they used to have. There's no Mike Williams. There's no Hunter Renfrow. There's no, Deion Kane or anybody like that out there, or Nuke or Sammy. So, they struggled with the big plays. And because of that, that means it is harder for them to come from behind. They want to run the football, they want to control clock, and they want to control the tempo of the game. That's kind of where their bread and butter is with this offense, because they just don't have the playmakers for DJ to get the ball out there, too, to do things with. And so I think a lot of it goes on DJ, and a lot of people blame DJ, but it's not DJ as much as it is the people around him in a lot of cases.
Will, how is the Clemson folks out there feeling about Mario now taking over the Miami program? Because obviously everybody that they've hired has failed to even come close to challenging Clemson. And, we're dying for Miami to get back to being respectable again. So how are the folks in Clemson viewing the change here in Miami?
Well, first of all, they don't like that you took their AD from them. That's probably the first thing. I think they look at Cristobal as a guy that, he's proven he can be a good recruiter. He's proven he can get the kind of players in. It's just a matter of, can he get the culture there to be what it needs to be at Miami, to bring back, if you want to say the U back to Miami. I think they're searching for it. Clemson can understand it a lot, because Clemson searched for it for a long time, too, until Dabo Swinney came, where they were trying to relive the glory days of the 80s when Danny Ford was here and trying to get back to that point, and they struggled to get there. And it took a while before they found the right guy. And so, he seems like a guy that he's a Miami guy. He graduated there, understands the program, obviously. But you look at his success and his recruiting success. If I'm a Miami fan, that's what would have me excited, to make sure the Sammy Watkins of the area doesn't leave Miami like they've done in the years past.
Just wanted to follow up on, you were talking about when Dabo got there and how things were, not where they used to be. It took Dabo maybe 3-4 seasons. So his first season, 2008, I'm looking here at.
It wasn't good early on, and then
He had his first.
It was like season 3 and 4 is where he really started to, because it took a little bit to kind of turn things around. And Will, let me ask you. I'm sorry to interrupt there,
ahead.
but that challenge that Dabo had, how can you compare it to what Miami is trying to do right now?
Well, a little different from the standpoint. Dabo came in as an interim coach, if you remember, in 2008. Yeah, so he came as the interim coach. So he came over halfway through the season. It took Dabo by the third season is when they won their first ACC championship. And it just really came down to just getting the people to trust him that he's going to make the right decisions. He had to change coordinators there in 2010 and then again in 2011. And those were big hires for him. He brought in Chad Morris back in 2010 to run that offense, and they end up winning the first year, winning the ACC. Then the next year, he brings in Brent Venables. And, of course, we know the story there and what he did with Brent and how Brent helped turn this program, take it to another notch. Because Dabo's always said you don't win championships without a good defense. And that's why they wanted Venables, and they got Brent to come here. And that was probably where the program took another step and really took it to the next level. And I think that's what's going on there. So I would say, be patient. It's going to take you a couple of years. It's not going to happen overnight. Clemson was that Dabo's first year, they were mediocre. They were like mine going through right now. And so his first, I should say his second year. But that third year is when it really came together, and then they've been doing this. If they win today, right, it'll be their 12th consecutive 10-win season.
No, and listen, when we start looking at big picture, this is a season without Venables and without your AD. That's pretty freaking impressive, Will. I got to say, pretty impressive, because Venables is a monster loss when you're talking about a generational coordinator for your program.
Oh, absolutely. A huge one. And, when you look at, what – sorry, hold on a second. You broke up on me. Say that again. I'm sorry.
I said that this season is even more impressive by Clemson because you're doing it without Brett Venables and your AD. You lost both in the offseason. Those are enormous losses for Dabo, and for them to be looking at another 10-win season again and winning the conference, you got to really credit Dabo how he's been able to keep everything afloat.
Yeah, people forget that the one constant in everything is Dabo, right?
Yeah.
Dabo built this program before Dan Radakovich came. He built this program before Brent Venables came. And so he's the constant in all this. And as long as he's here, I think Clemson's going to be where they're supposed to be, and that's at the top of the ACC each year, playing for the ACC championship and putting themselves in position to be in the college football playoff. There's obviously no guarantees. You got to go out and play and win the games. But yeah, I mean, Dabo, a lot of fans gave Dabo a hard time, because he hired Wes Goodwin as a DC, a guy who'd never been a coach before. He hired, Brandon Streeter, a guy who's been his quarterback's coach the last 7 years. He, instead of going out and getting somebody like a Brent Venables, he hired within, because Dabo trusts his coaches within. He's done that several times. Tony Elliott and Jeff Scott were both guys he brought up from within the program. And so, and they're all Clemson guys. And that's the thing about it. They all have some kind of tie to Clemson. And so he's big on that, because that's something that was big at Alabama when he was there, that you hire guys that are familiar with the program and are understand the program. That way, when they go out and sell it, they're selling it better than anybody else can, because they were Clemson people. You know what I'm saying?
You kind of answered my question, because I was going to ask you, in an age where, and this doesn't normally happen when, things are great and you're winning, and Clemson still is winning. I mean, they won 10 games last year after all the noise that, the media tried to put in everything. But in an age of college football where there's a lot of movement and sticking on the coaching front, there any names, and I know you said they love to hire from within, and, you name the guys, but any names that kind of come, because we're used to these big-time name coordinators. We talked about Venables. We talked about Elliott. And right now, let's are a Clemson, because they are hiring from within. So, I mean, is there any coaches on the roster that are maybe being looked at? I'm sorry, on the staff that are maybe being looked at by somebody else? And if so, I know Dabo's a smart guy. He's probably 3 steps ahead of the game. Any kind of names that maybe are being rumored to taking spots?
Well, right now I can't say, there's any guys that would definitely, I know for sure, would jump or are being looked at. But I mean, there's guys I think that are in the next few years. I think a guy like Brandon Streeter is a guy people will be interested in, because I think he's going to do a good job. I think he's done a good job as the OC this year for Clemson. He's got OC experience before Clemson, and that's, I can see him moving on and being a head coach. A guy like CJ Spiller here in the next few years. I think as he continues to show what he can do as a coach, I mean, he's really done a great job with these running backs at Clemson, and that's a guy who's going to get noticed as they move along. So, so there's a few guys on this staff, a couple guys on the defensive staff as well that has Coach Mike Reed. I would say is another guy that probably if there's going to be a guy who's going to be a head coaching job next, it'll be him. He's the DB coach. He's been here for like 7 or 8 years. He's done a great job. And so there's a couple guys still, but it's still but there's a lot of young guys on this staff too that are just kind of getting their feet wet.
All right, well, let's wrap it up with this. What's the prediction? Clemson favored by 18. Are they covering today?
I'm not a betting guy, but I'm going to say no. Clemson's like one of the worst teams like in the last 10 years, right, against the spread. Home or away, it doesn't matter. I'm going to say no. I think Miami keeps it closer than a lot of people think. My final prediction on our website at Clemson SI was 27-17 Clemson.
There you go. Follow him on Twitter, by the way, at Steeler Will. And, of course, you can catch his work at Sports Illustrated. And if you want to read the book, Hidden History of Clemson Football, he is the author, Will Vandervoort. Will, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you on short notice, man. Thank you so much.
No problem, guys. Thanks for having me.
You got it, baby. Be good. Enjoy the football. There you go.
Bye.
Will Vandervoort. Great job by him, and especially on short notice. I want to get somebody to give us a little bit of the Clemson perspective.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of comparison to Miami now. Because their new coach, our new coach, well, how they went through the whole process, and they didn't start off well. It was a good point by you to bring that up, and this is just part of the peeling off the scab. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully, Mario will be able to figure it out. C. Dola, I don't play the hypotheticals, but I love the hypothetical negative. Bigo, does Mario go on the hot seat immediately in year 2 or 3 if we don't compete in the ACC? You got to answer your own question on that one, my brother. I mean, come on. But how about this? Let's wait for year 2 to happen and year 3 to happen. They might be actually really good years. So why are we going to talk about something that's negative or positive when it hasn't happened yet? Let's just get to year 2 and we'll see how everything develops and we'll see what they end up doing, and then we'll judge Mario at that time. But judging Mario at this point just doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry about that. So just to follow up on the early years of Clemson with Dabo at the helm, just like our guest just said, he took over 2008 in the middle of the season, was the interim coach, went 4-3 in those 7 games. They ended up losing in the Gator Bowl, made a bowl game, lost in the Gator Bowl. His first full season at the helm, Clemson was 9-5. That's 2009. Took a step back in 2010, went 6-7, and this is when things started rolling in 2011. 10-4, followed by 11-2 in 2012, another 11-2 in 2013. 2014, 10-3. So they always had that loss. Remember the phrase Clemsoning? And whenever you would bring it up, Dabo would get pissed off. But that's what they were doing. They were losing games that they shouldn't have lost. And then finally, they turned the corner and they won a national championship. What was it in 2016? They were 14-1, I think it was. And so, they haven't had a season without double-digit wins since 2011. A minimum of 10 games, won every season since 2011. And so, did the same thing last year, and they're going to do it again this year.
Let's hope so, man. Let's see what happens. And again, the young guys to watch, Jaden Harris, Marketh Williams, Inez Cooper, Ahmad Moten, Jaleel Skinner, Jakari Brown, Wesley Basaint, what is it, Nijalik Kelly?
Nijalik
Kelly. All these young guys are playing. These are the guys from the future. These are the guys they just recruited. These are the young guys that have earned playing time. This is the reason why you've got some pissed off parents. Because of these young guys. And the other storyline, Frank Ladson today, the former Clemson player, goes back to Clemson now. And, this is one of those games that don't be surprised if Frank's playing, kind of inspired and they get him involved a little bit there in this game. But I would imagine that this is a fun game for Frank to be a part of.
Gotta be. No, of course. And then Coach Cristobal was asked how much Frank was, I don't want to say leaned on, but maybe asked about in terms of, what can they get from the Clemson offense. And Coach Cristobal said, we talked about it, but it was really nothing that he revealed that they didn't already know. So this staff is prepared. Obviously, the analysts help. There's 100 analysts right now on Miami staff, something that Coach Cristobal said that he needed to be successful here. So it's more so, Frank, he did say that it was more so tendencies from certain players, what guy is good at. But in terms of schematics and X's and O's, there's nothing that really Frank provided that, the coaches didn't already know.
By the way, TCU won with a last-second field goal.
They won with a last-second field goal. I was waiting for you guys to get to that.
Yeah. By the way, CuttersEdgePro.com, a proud sponsor of our program. Listen, man, our home has completely changed. Value has gone up because we added landscaping to the front and backyards. Tomorrow, while the Dolphins are off, and so am I, the family, we're going to be hanging out in our backyard thanks to CuttersEdgePro.com with the dogs. running around on the artificial turf, not bringing any dirt into the house. Tomorrow, maybe I take out the barbecue a little bit. Maybe we play a little mini golf back there, do a lot of things. Tomorrow, we get to enjoy our backyard and relax. And folks, you pay for your entire property, right? You're paying mortgage and rent for entire property. You should enjoy the entire property. You should enjoy your backyard. If it's just sitting there doing nothing, bring it to life. Call CuttersEdgePro.com. Bring in some trees. Bring in some shade. Put in some artificial turf for your pets. So easy to maintain. It saves you hundreds and thousands in the long run because you're no longer watering the grass or cutting the grass because it stays just perfect, man. And it's really easy to maintain. I'm telling you, go and check out the folks at Cutter's Edge Pro, 954-472-0622. Ask for Will or Mike. They've got a show, by the way, every noon on Sundays at noon on WIOD. You can check it out. And they are your total landscaping solution, from lawns to landscaping and maintenance, from medium to large HOAs, condominiums, corporate parks, and large commercial buildings anywhere in South Florida, Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. They handle anything from lighting to, of course, irrigation, you name it. And I'm telling you, if you own dogs, there is nothing better than the artificial turf for your pets, man. It is amazing. Call them 954-472-0622. That's 954-472-0622 for CuttersEdgePro.com. All right. So, Sean, what's the prediction today for the game? What do you got going on today? What are you expecting? Give him the mic there, which we're gonna have to get you a third mic here or something, bro, so you can like connect the damn mic. What do you got going? Oh, wait a minute.
I lowered them as you were doing your spot. I'm sorry. I think the Hurricanes offense is going to struggle today.
Okay.
So I'm going to go 21-13 Canes.
All right. Low scoring. They can only muster 21 points. I got you. Normally 50, 70 points, but today there's a little struggles and all that. They're on the road. We're going to give Clemson a little love, right? Just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Mikey, what is the prediction today? What's going to happen?
I'm going to go Clemson 29, Miami 20.
Okay. All right. What, you're shaking your head because he has them losing? Okay. All right. No, you're not going to like mine either. Listen, I'm hoping that they can actually get the running game going today. And personally, I would love to see Jakari play well today because that would be really, really cool. There's nothing better than having a quarterback problem. And not the negative one, the good one, like you have too many. I like that. And that's what I want. I'm rooting for Jakari to create a quarterback controversy. Okay? I mean, the Canes haven't been good enough to have one quarterback in the past. Now it would be nice to have two quarterbacks. That would be nice because then Mario's doing something right. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm also excited that all three running backs are healthy today.
Yes, huge.
Okay, and that's probably why Thad said, well, I'm out of here. I'm done. Everybody's healthy. They don't need me anymore. Plus, they don't use me much and all that. So I am hoping that the running game can keep it somewhat close. And I'm going to go Clemson 33, Canes 21. I'll stick with your 21, but I think they'll unfortunately fall short. Clemson's too good, man. They should win. They're home. They got everything to play for. I would love to be wrong like I was. What was the other game that I predicted?
You predicted Duke to us to beat Duke. Wasn't that one? I'm not sure if it was Virginia or Virginia Tech.
It was what?
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
we did.
week.
We did. Both of us
That's
had
it.
them losing. Yeah,
That's
right.
it. It was last week that I was wrong. It was Georgia Tech, and they came back and surprised me.
Yeah.
Now Clemson is no Georgia Tech.
Right.
Not even on their worst day can they even come close to Georgia Tech. But I'm gonna keep it in that direction where they stay within the point spread. And hey, Will Vandervoot just told us that.
Yeah, I was surprised at that.
I didn't realize that they were that bad against the spread. And again, this isn't a great Clemson team. And if I can say your quarterback's been getting better the last couple of weeks, your running backs are healthy, how about maybe the Canes are a little better now the last couple of weeks?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
So let me give them a little love for that. So I'll say they stay within the point spread. That's going to be my story, and I'm sticking to it. Go ahead.
Two things I want to say before we get off. The game's about to start in a little bit. Cam Kitchens leads the nation with 6 interceptions. Hopefully he's a factor in today's game, all right? That's right, leads the nation with 6 interceptions, all right? Cam Kitchens does. Miami is no longer has their leading rusher in terms of touchdowns scored, because that's that Franklin. Ironically enough, he has 5 and leads the team. So he's going to be, without his services. But Will Mallory, as good of a season he's been having, has been kind of absent the last few games, not because of any fault of his own. I know he scored a touchdown, what was it, last week, I think it was. But you kind of been hearing his name a lot more during the season before that. I think look out for him offensively. And like O said, good call, Frank Ladson. I think this is a remember me, guys, game for him.
Let's hope so. All right, we're out here at Walk-Ons, and we're going to be out here all afternoon into the evening, and we'll be giving away prizes at the end of every single quarter. So come on out. You might win a Canes gift card. You could win a Walk-Ons gift card, a Walk-Ons gift pack. We're going to give away a pair of Heat tickets thanks to the great people at CuttersEdgePro.com, and a Perdomo gift pack. And thanks to Nick Perdomo and the great people at Perdomo Cigars. That it's like $100. The lighter, the cutter, and the hat. It is just absolutely phenomenal. We'll give away 4 more of those today. So there you go. All right, we are out of here. We'll see you at the end of the game. The second the game ends, that's when Mike McCoy and myself take off. We thank Sean Stanley, who masters his entire platform, along with Chad Shobe, doing excellent work. We will catch you at post-game show right here on the MyEdgeDrink.com Miami Hurricanes pregame show live from Walk-Ons right here on the Sports Talk 305 Network.
This has been the Edge Energy Drink Miami Hurricanes pregame show live from Walk-On Sports Bistro in Kendall on the Sports Talk 305 Network. The show is mastered by Sean Stanley and Chad Shobe. Visit Walk-On Sports Bistro in Kendall at 9065 Southwest 162nd Avenue. Enjoy Walk-On's authentic and mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine prepared fresh from scratch. Closes daily at midnight, 7 days a week. Please subscribe to our platform by searching Big O Radio Show on all digital avenues. We'll be back with a complete wrap-up of the game once the last second ticks off the clock. Thank you for your support and enjoy Hurricanes football.